Hey, what's up everyone? This is Bleurain, your Upland newbie, bringing you the floor today, February 7th in all Upland cities. So, Upland's done it again, brought something super fantastic and awesome to Upland, which is avatars. It's been a long time coming and it's finally here. We'll have our avatars that we can build within Upland from the online app. I wasn't able to do it from my actual phone app. I had to go to my browser to see the edit avatar. But yeah, that's where I found it. And also you can use Ready Player Me avatars, which are cool. If you've already got one for like your spatial, then you've got one ready to go that you can actually just hook up to your Upland account, and that's super awesome. I'm pretty sure that eventually we're going to be seeing these avatars everywhere, just like Ready Player One the book. I think it's coming, so if you haven't read it, catch up. You're behind the times already. Alright, so something else that I want to point out to you. So this is like my little blender bit. Alright, my blender bit for people. I'm going to start trying to add these into my channel because I think that, well, Blender is just such a fantastic program, and anyone who's an artist, I think, needs to learn how to use it. But I think it's just going to be the way of the future. And also, if you want to build things in Upland, if you want to enter those contests and get your ornaments sold in Upland and have part of the proceeds, then you got to learn how to basically use Blender. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some Blender bit tips that I've learned along the way as a newbie that I think are super helpful, that maybe like you pick up but super further down the road and you wish you had known right up front. And this is not in those videos that I've seen where it says, oh, what I wish I'd known. So I'm not going to tell you what someone else has already said they wish they'd known. I'm going to show you and tell you things no one told me along the way that I wished I'd known, and I just haven't seen videos about this. So one of those things is these things, well, these right here. So first off, whenever people start Blender, they usually are told to go learn with the donut tutorials. So I just want to point out, if you're learning with those donut tutorials, you actually will start to get pretty adept with using Blender fast in. Like the donut guy who teaches a tutorial on donuts, he's actually a really good teacher, and for sure you'll start to feel comfortable, but then you'll start to venture off trying to make things. And if that happens, you may get ahead of yourself because you'll like build a model that's not actually maybe the best, I don't know, let's just think the best mesh for what you want to do. For example, you might have faces like overlapping and you don't even know that. You shouldn't have that. So basically, before you get building and get this really great model that you think is amazing that you can't actually do anything with because it's too hard to unwrap and bake because it's just messed up and the mesh is just messed up, first learn about UV unwrapping. So my tip to you is, before you get ahead of yourself, learn how to UV unwrap your models. Like, look into that, what that means. And before you actually go into texturing your model, I suggest you also learn a UV unwrap first. Like, I would unwrap my model before I textured it because I think that looks like an easier method from what I've learned. All right, and I'm not that far ahead of anyone. I'm still learning, but I've learned this far ahead that it's better not to have to like just start from scratch because you messed up and it's just too hard to fix it. So better to have UV unwrap your model to understand, like, you know, what things are gonna look like, and it's just easier that way. Also, texturing your model. When you texture it, I didn't realize, like, so for example, if you have a wall and you want the outside of the wall to be brick and you want the inside of the wall to be drywall. Well, if you're using one, say a side of a cube or a side of a plane, both sides of that texture are going to show up whatever you put. One, like both of the side wall and inside wall are going to be the same texture. So if I put brick on the outside of a face, the inside of that face is also going to have brick, unless you use this geometry node thing to plug in back facing. So it's something you have to learn to do. It's in the shader tab, which you should learn to use. I'm pretty sure it's in the shader tab where you do this. I'm pretty sure it's there. Anyways, bottom line is, learn about that, because you don't want to make your whole house brick and then you try to do the living rooms and you realize it's brick inside there and you didn't want that. So you definitely want to learn what I'm talking about as far as back facing and learning how to use. I'm pretty sure it's either the shader tab or the geometry node. I'm pretty sure it's the shader tab. Anyways, if it's not the shader tab, whatever the case is, I'm sure you add a geometry thingamajig vector. So learn about that. And last you probably want to watch a variety of tutorials on baking different textures, because if you're baking like metallic textures, it's a little bit different. And if you want to bake like, say, a light, like an emission, then there's like stuff to do with that. So you have to bake all these different textures. Like if you want them to show up, you can't just bake your object once and everything's there. There's different texture maps apparently. It's like, yeah, there's a lot there. So anyways, I'm hoping to give you tips ahead of time, so on your way learning, you now know what to go learn a little bit more about what you want to do. And for those of you who don't know about Upland and just came to watch this video because of the Blender bit, Upland is an awesome game that you can play with, like virtual property flipping. You get into the game and you learn quickly that you can start your own entrepreneurship right in the metaverse within Upland, and one of those ways is selling 3D objects. So yeah, learning to build 3D structures and things like that within Blender is very, I think, business savvy at this point. So any artist, any entrepreneur, any like digital person at all, technology person, learn to use Blender, and I think you'll be well set for the future ahead of us. As far as the floor, here we are on February 7th, seeing some green up in Arlington, but a lot of red, especially on the dollar side. You would think somebody just announced a new city around the corner, but that didn't happen. The Super Bowl is coming, and I'm not sure if people are trying to buy some legit or what they're doing, but yeah, they're dropping their prices. And Oakland's looking $4.20 is pretty decent for Oakland. Might want to head over there. I'm looking at the $12.18 San Francisco property. And whenever it's in the $12 range, I'm always very tempted. I don't see it dropping too much further below, like, say 10. Hopefully not 10, but maybe 10. And then you're like, okay, it's got to go back up eventually. So who knows? Right now might be the time to grab and hold on to San Francisco because it's iconic. And it is the very first place in Upland, the game. So it's always going to have a special place in my little Upland heart. Anyways, everybody, I hope you got your avatars on and you're ready to go and meet up in the metaverse because there's a lot coming. I am learning Blender so I can set up my own space, and I do want it to look very nice. So we'll see what happens. Alright, happy hunting. I'll see you guys in Upland. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.